Oh, now this is where we start diving into real shit. Hey guys, how is it all going? Thank you so much for joining me for what is my Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, the Dream Master movie review. And to get into the very quick plot of Part 4 is Freddy Krueger is back. He gets resurrected, he is no longer dead, and he is here to take revenge on the remaining Dream Warriors from the last movie. And after he's took care of them, he's going to set his sights on a whole new bunch of victims. And I will say, straight off the bat, that A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 is 100% a product of its time. This movie couldn't be more 80s if it tried. It really couldn't. And also, this is where we really start getting into cheesy, comedic Freddy territory. This is where the series really takes a shift in tone. And you will either be on board with that or not. Now, when I was younger, I didn't mind Part 4 when I first watched it. I quite enjoyed it. I think it was the one that I actually watched the most, weirdly enough. Like, it was Part 3 and Part 4. I watched a lot of when I was a kid. And I haven't seen Part 4 in a long time, to be fair. And obviously doing the series, the review for you guys here. After rewatching Part 4, to do this review, I'm really surprised at how much I really dislike this movie. Like, really, from going from actually liking it as a teenager, as a kid teenager, to watching it now and going, it's actually not great at all. And there's a lot of reasons to why I dislike Part 4, which I will get into a little bit later in this review. But I always like to start off on positives. So, one positive I will give this is the death of Debbie, I think her character's name is. It really doesn't matter about the characters in this movie, by the way, but I think her name is Debbie. If I've got it wrong, I actually really don't care. But her death is actually really good in this movie. She's like working out, and then Freddy comes over, grabs the bar, and like goes, no pain, no gain, because he's full of one-liners in this one, by the way. He can't kill anyone without making a quip or doing something. Just save this for later. But anyway, he pulls the bar down. Her elbows like snap back, her arms snap back. It just, it's, ugh. It gets me. It sends shivers down my spine every time that happens. But anyway, she ends up like turning into this like cockroach and bug thing, which is just, it's actually really good effects as well, to be fair. And then she ends up getting trapped in like this gooey like bug trap thing, which Freddy ends up like, squeezing, and you see all this shit come out and all that. It's actually quite creative, and I do like that kill, to be fair. I'd probably say it's up there with one of the best kills in the series. So it does one thing right. Also, there's another kill with the character that I really don't remember what her name is, but she's got asthma, and it's in the classroom, and Freddy Krueger like kind of like sucks the air all out with her, and she like deflates like a balloon, and then just like drops back into the chair. I quite like that kill, to be fair. I thought it was, weirdly enough, it made me laugh. I mean, you're not really supposed to laugh, in horror movies, but it made me laugh. But this is right. I'm just gonna dive into what I don't like. So I probably need to get it off my chest. I feel like I need to get it off my chest a little bit, and I'm probably going to get some stick for this. But what the main thing I don't like in this movie is Freddy Krueger himself, and that's got nothing to do with Robert Englund playing him or anything like that, because Robert Englund, he's great as Freddy Krueger. And then given the direction that he's given in this movie and the change of tone that they're going for, He does a fantastic job. And also, you've got to bear in mind that at the time that this movie come out, and especially with the tone shift that they took, I can understand why they've done it, because the popularity of Freddy Krueger at this time was ridiculous. And if you go back to the earlier movies, he wasn't the main star of their movies. And he was scary and he was dark. And Dream Warriors kind of towed the line perfectly, I think, really, between like kind of jokey Freddy and dark Freddy from the earlier movies. And give him a bit more screen time, but it felt like they hit the nail on the head in Dream Warriors with that. Whereas part 4, they just go full into it. And I get it, I get why. Because like it's the first time in the series, I think, that Robert Englund's name was like first and foremost straight up on the credits before the title came up. I don't remember that being in any of the other movies. So that gives you an indication on who the star of this movie is, and that is Freddy Krueger. And I think that's a detriment to the quality of the movie itself and the tone that they give Freddy in this. He's just far too jokey and cheesy. And one of my main problems getting into this series now is he's just not scary in the slightest. Like this Freddy, I wouldn't mind bumping into in between. I just don't find him intimidating in the slightest. I prefer my Freddy dark and quiet to a certain extent. In the earlier movies, especially in the first two, when Freddy said something, it meant something. You know what I mean? It was scary. You didn't want him talking to you. You know, now he's a walking punchline. He's a walking one-liner. And I get it. I get it. I get why they leaned more into it. I get it. Part 4 is 100% a product of its time. Completely. And because of the popularity of Freddy Krueger, they lean more into Freddy. And, I mean, I think still, off the top of my head, I think this is the highest grossing Elm Street movie, probably before Freddy vs. Jason and the remake that came out. But Freddy vs. Jason isn't really, like, an Elm. But you know what I mean? I think from the first one up till, like, Freddy's Dead, I think this is still the highest grossing one. Don't quote me on that, but I think it is. So, financially, it probably proved that they made the right decision. But for the quality of the movie, just for me personally, I just don't like my Freddy Krueger jokey and one-liner. I just don't. And also, the movie just feels like one big MTV 80s rock music video. Like, just the way it's shot. The dream sequences, I just don't think are any good. Like, I think they were done better in earlier movies. The characters, like I say, you don't care about any of them. Probably apart from Alice, who's the only interesting one out the bunch. And is probably the only one out the bunch that has any slight talent in acting as well. Because the acting in this movie is god-awful. God-awful. And I don't really like singling people out, but I will on this one, because the young lady that took over Patricia Arquette's character from Dream Warriors, Tuesday Night, I think her name is, I think is so bad. It's so bad as Kristen in this movie. Like, oh, I won't say anymore. I don't want to be fucking cruel or horrible, but the acting is not great in part 4. Let's put it that way. Not like they've been Oscar worthy in any of the other movies, but they've been good to decent in the other movies. Whereas this one is decent to shit, basically. It just diminishes in quality a lot from the first 3 Dream Warriors, and also the resurrection of Freddy Krueger makes fucking no sense whatsoever. None. Do you want to know how he gets resurrected? So where he's buried in the junkyard, right? In Dream Warriors. In Kincaid's dream, one of the Dream Warriors from the third one, his dog pisses on where Freddy's buried, pisses fire, not just piss, pisses fire, and Freddy comes back from the dead. No explanation, nothing building up to this, no pieces falling into a puzzle to make this happen. He just comes back. No rhyme, no reason. Nothing as stupid like in the Friday the 13th, like a bolt of lightning fucking hits a metal spike or, direct, like nothing like that. Just a dog pisses fire on a grave and Freddy is back. I know you've got to get him back from the dead somehow, but Jesus Christ, like, just try and think of something. Like, just don't think, yeah, we're just going to Kincaid's dream and the dog will just piss fire and that brings Freddy back. Because it just diminishes everything that Part 3 did in like fucking 10 seconds. And also, that's another thing, he kills off the leftover Dream Warriors so easily that yeah. I would have liked. Do you know what I wish they would have done in hindsight with rewatching Part 4 now? I wish they would have took the story of Part 3 and expanded it with them characters a bit more and flesh it out, because Dream Warriors was so interesting and it breathed like a new piece of life into the series a little bit. And you could have carried on with that and like explored that a lot more. But instead, they just killed them off straight away, like a lot of horror movies did back in the day with main characters from the first one. Just kill them off straight away in the sequel, then just give us new characters. And we're like, well, I don't really, I like them, I couldn't really give a fuck about these new ones you're giving us. But Alice out the bunch, I actually quite like. And she was interesting. But then she gets like Kirsten's powers, so she can like pull people into the dreams. But now all of a sudden, the other kids that die, she can take like something of theirs. Like her brother was like, he did martial arts and kung fu, so he dies. Oh, his death in this movie is the whole dream thing. His death is just fucking dumb. But anyway, I don't have long. But anyway, now she can do kung fu in her dreams now, and none of that's explained. You just have to like just accept that now. So I'm just gonna stop talking about Dream Master. I'm just surprised like how much I like really disliked it rewatching it this time, even though like I used to like it as a kid. Yeah, I am really not looking forward, because I hate Dream Child and I know I hate it. I didn't like it as a kid and I know I'm going to hate it again. Freddy's Dead, I fucking can't stand, and I know I'm going to hate that. So I'm really not looking forward to carrying on with this series at the moment. Yeah, I don't recommend Part 4. If you haven't seen the Elm Street series, and I would recommend going 1 to 3 at this moment, because I haven't got to New Nightmare yet. I would recommend going 1 to 3 and then jump to like Freddy versus Jason. To be honest with you, you could skip 4, 5, and 6. Skip it. Don't waste your time. So I'm actually going to give this quite a low score. I'm going to give A Nightmare on Elm Street 4 Dream Master, I'm going to give it a 1 out of 5. I'm actually quite surprised, because like I said, I hadn't seen this for a while, but yeah. So guys, what do you think of A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 The Dream Master? Do you really enjoy it? Do you not like it like me? Did you used to like it as a kid, but now as an adult rewatching it, you don't? Whatever it is, guys, please leave a comment below. You are absolutely always a pleasure looking at your comments. And guys, as always, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you again real soon. Take care, guys. Goodbye now.